Oftentimes people ask me, how do I get more seafood in my diet? I like shrimp, I like lobster, I love shellfish. I'm iffy on going into the finfish, but shellfish is the greatest kind of gateway into the world of seafood. And I always tell people, one of the simplest things to cook is shrimp. It's not just incredibly high in protein and nutritious for you, but it's kind of hard to mess up. A lot of people don't necessarily know how they integrate shrimp into certain recipes. So we're gonna start here with a real simple dish. This is just a garlic shrimp, toasted garlic shrimp. We're gonna amp it up a little bit. I call it everything shrimp because I love using everything bagel spice in this dish. So you get that dry garlic from the bagel spice, black sesame seed, white sesame seed, onion powder, that all around everything flavor with the crispy shrimp and some toasted garlic. It's really kind of an umami bomb, if you will. So here we go. I've got the ghee, right, that we're gonna start with. And I often talk about just using kind of a silicone brush as opposed to dumping fat in your pan when you're gonna cook. And the reason that is that you don't need a ton of fat when you cook. You only need like a thin layer in order to prevent the food from sticking upon initially cooking it. In this case, you know, I might add a little bit more, but I love applying my fat with one of these silicone brushes because it prevents you from using too much fat, and actually too much fat in the pan. It's not sauteing, it's not searing, it becomes shallow frying, and that's an entirely different cooking experience. So just brushing this pan, carbon steel pan here, which I love cooking with. It's already got its kind of natural non-stick surface by way of having heavily seasoned it by cooking time and time again. Some bacon fat in there. So I'm gonna just kind of lay that in there. And what I've got is that now already right off the bat, because I had this pan kind of heating a little bit, I'm gonna add my garlic. Now, people have the tendency to cook garlic a little bit too long when they're cooking. Garlic really, oh, hey, there we go, right? This is cooking, so I'm gonna use that. Toast this garlic in here. And we only wanna toast this for about 45 seconds or so before it starts to kind of turn the color of hay, right? So this garlic is just getting nice and redolent and just toasting up in the fat, not too long. And the garlic starts, because this is gonna be the foundation of flavor in this dish itself, right? So automatically, that was 30 seconds right there. And I'm gonna add my shrimp into this mix. Just give it a little bit of a toss up with the garlic, all right? So now I've toasted this garlic, get the shrimp in there, and we are going to immediately deglaze the pan now with sherry vinegar, okay? Because this is gonna be a bit of a kind of a sweet and sour. And then I'm gonna also finish it with champagne vinegar. So this deglazing basically means that you're kind of pulling off all those flavors from the base of the pan. And I've got some tongs here. I'll move the shrimp around. So now let's let these shrimp simmer in here and kind of cook with that garlic. Once again, this is not a crazy difficult dish. I mean, in a way, we're steaming this shrimp. Normally, if you wanted to do this as like a wok seared, really high heat, you can do that. But once again, my goal here is to create kind of an easy template upon which you can build flavors without overcooking, searing, burning, or messing the shrimp up. So just a light toss on there. Now, as that starts to cook and the vinegar cooks down there, we're gonna develop some of those flavors. I'm going to throw in my everything spice with this shrimp. Now, shrimp cooks pretty quickly. You gotta remember that. What you're looking for on the shrimp to know that it's cooked is it doesn't just change color, it loses that translucency, and then the shrimp curls up kind of in a real tight shell. And it releases a little bit of liquid because legally shrimp can, there is a little bit of tripolyphosphate allowed in certain shrimps, which is really just moisture retention. Try and avoid buying shrimp from overseas that you don't necessarily know where it's coming from or what it's kind of being soaked in. I look for the BAP logo, which is Best Aquaculture Practices, which is an international body that certifies shrimp farms as being sustainable. And then if I'm looking for wild shrimp, I'll typically seek the MSC logo, which is the Marine Stewardship Council, which indicates that the fishery itself, the wild shrimp fishery, is sustainable. And as sustainability is defined by multiple standards, one in which is that the fishing method doesn't harm the surrounding ecosystem, the fishing method itself doesn't have too much bycatch. The shrimp fishery is known for having a lot of bycatch because you're not individually rodding and reeling one shrimp, you're using these massive nets. And over the years, there's been so much bycatch alternative species that are caught in these nets that end up dying. And that's a real environmental disaster if you think about it. So they've introduced various mechanisms within the shrimp fishing industry, things like turtle exclusion devices, where actual sea turtles can get out of these shrimp nets so that they're not caught as incidental bycatch. And then Also, the healthfulness of the shrimp, right? You wanna make sure that it's not treated with chemicals, that it's all natural, and that's also what's taken into consideration as the sustainability measures are kind of thrown into the mix. So here we go, right? This is all reducing down now. Now I'm gonna get a bit spicy, literally. I'm gonna throw some sriracha in here, which is just kind of this garlic infused and fermented hot sauce, Vietnamese hot sauce, absolutely delicious. Dr. Rooster. And then I'm gonna finish this shrimp with whole butter. I'm gonna swirl the butter into this shrimp, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of a toss, all right? And as that butter is kind of melting and mounting into this shrimp, to add brightness to this, okay, I'll leave my tongs on there, I'm gonna hit it with some lemon zest, which is the exterior of the lemon, all right? And this adds so much. There's so many oils just infused into this lemon, and you wanna get that into your food. So if you're ever gonna add lemon juice, the last thing you wanna do is add your lemon juice without also adding your lemon zest. So I'm gonna squeeze that lemon juice right into this mixture, all right? Oh yeah, and then I'm gonna pull it all together right here in the pan. Make sure it gets mixed up, and that's it. I mean, that is literally it. You've got your garlic shrimp, okay? You take it right from the pan, just mix that all together. Now, if you wanna get silly, you can make a shrimp roll with this, and you can pack it into a split top butter roll, make a shrimp sandwich. You can toss this up with pasta. What we're gonna do here, just again, just toss some of those shrimp fully in there, get all that flavorful seasoning and sauce in there. This is everything shrimp. We're just gonna take it and we're gonna throw it right onto the plate right here, okay? And you can serve this with anything, right? Like I said, pasta, side of rice, you name it. Obviously, I'm gonna finish it off here with some fresh chives. That's just what we do. And maybe a little bit more of this everything spice on top. And voila, got yourself perfect garlicky everything shrimp.